Hey everyone, Justin here on Bench Addict. I'm going to go over how to fix some case necks manually. There was a video I was about to do on the Autodod, turning some case necks on some 308s, and I ran into an issue that I hadn't ran into yet. On a new box of Lapua brass, case necks are not straight, and I was getting a machine set up and I couldn't get full cleanup without getting too thin on the case necks, so ran all those through. Well, first through the just a body die, a shoulder bump die, if you will. It's a full length resize, but it just without the neck. I have a separate die for the neck. And actually, those casings were they all went through an expander die to get all the little dings out and everything that you often see when you open a new box. You know, they get rattled around in shipping, and a lot of times you get little dingers in the necks. That's all got to be perfectly nice and round, otherwise it's going to show up in your brass thickness when you turn it on an iDod or Autodod case neck turner. So also, you know, with running them through the expander potentially should straighten the necks, but they were not, as I found. And then I ran them through a neck bushing die, checked them again on a concentricity gauge, still had run out. Ran them through through my body die or shoulder bump die, still had it. So then I resorted to a regular full length resize die, just a RCBS, and sized them with that. I got 2000 shoulder bump and still have the same run out. So there is no helping these cases on a press with any dies. So these have to be done manually, and actually a long time ago I used to go through and actually spend the time after all the bolts were seated to whether the bolt didn't seat straight or if the case neck wasn't perfectly straight, whatever the case be. This was early in my hand loading experience that I would use this tool to you know, take a thou or two of run out of the case necks. Since then I've moved up in the world on quality of tools and, you know, dies, brass, everything. So anyways, glad I still have the tool because now I need it, and I'm going to show you guys how to use it. It's so simple that it's almost comical how funny, how easy it is. So I'm going to get the camera moved over to the bench here, and I'll explain the tools that we're using. And try to get a good camera view. I may have to tilt this so you can see the indicator. So I picked out of this box of 308 here. I picked out some of the bad ones. You know, some had about 1.5, 2.5 thou of run out. The ones that I have picked out here are all well over 3. So I'm going to show how to do this. And first, just to kind of introduce you to the tools quick here. So this plate here with the holes in it, this is the NECO cartridge alignment tool, or CAT as I refer to it for short, just a lot less typing. This runout gauge here that I use is the Accuracy 1 concentricity gauge. When you go to their website and look at it, if it's something that you don't own and something you think you are looking at into purchasing, I definitely recommend this as a this is probably, in my opinion, one of the best ones out there. There's a few. I think there's probably 2 others out there that work the same as this, where they actually have the rollers and like a rolling wheel These are super easy to adjust. They're just held on magnetically, but yet they lock in real solid and firm. Nothing moves around unless you want it to move and you make it move. So and I was going to use the 6BRA brass that I have over here on the side, but they don't need straightening. I pulled 10 casings and they're all sub 1 thou of runouts, so I because those are the casings I was going to use for my case head thickness testing, but went to plan B, back to the 308 casings that had the crooked necks. And so one thing I want to point out is because, gosh, there, this dial indicator here is actually in 10,000ths of an inch, and I'll be darned if I can get a clear view of it. Each number you see on the screen is 1 thou, so all the marks in between are tenths. So you'll see this gauge move a lot. It's extremely sensitive. It picks up on any of the tiniest little microscopic dings and little scratches and any of that stuff on the case neck. When I upgraded this gauge to the 10,000ths, I really wasn't looking for dings and scratches, but I just wanted something a little bit easier to read between the 1,000 slimes. This gauge here is the one that came with it that I ordered, which is a 5,000ths, or I'm sorry, a half thou indicator. So each small mark is a half a thou, each big mark is 1 thou. And this is the one that you can get with the gauge, or with the Concentricity tool from Accuracy One. They have a cheaper or more affordable indicator. You don't have to get the Mitutoyo. They have another one, maybe it's a Sharp, I want to say, maybe. I went with the better option on the indicator because that really is the precision of the tool. The indicator is really what, the tool just holds the brass and spins it, but the indicator is what's telling you what you want to see, or potentially maybe don't want to see, but either way you still need to see it. So I'm going to show how to set this up real quick. I got this all moved around now, so nothing's where it needs to be, but yeah, these just slide around. In case you're curious, this tool here goes in place of this one. So if I want to check neck thickness, I can move this out of the way for now. Anyways, the casing will just sit right over the end of that, and then the dial indicator, I have to jack it way up. I really wasn't doing this video about the tool, but since we're here and I know people are going to say, I wonder what's that over there, so then I just turn this screw until that indicator touches the case neck, and once it does, I see the needle move. I go a little bit past touch because you don't know where the high spot is, and I don't want the brass to come off the tip when it gets to the thin spot. I want to make sure I get solid reading all the way around. And yeah, see, I still need to go some more. So now, and actually I like to make sure that this indicator is, yeah, it's not right where I want it to be really. I want it to be right over that nub. Slide that back a little. I generally don't measure. I'll try to see if I can hold this without everything. If I can get without a glare. And I'm just rotating this wheel, and you can see that gauge moving, in which it's showing me just a little over a ½ thou of thickness variation. I prefer to use a ball mic. I think it's more accurate, but it's just one of the bells and whistles you can get for this thing. So anyways, back to what this video is about. I'm going to get this on here. I'm going to get this set up. I always try to set the wheel so that way if you set this up so that the wheel is way back here, what'll happen is it'll lift off, and you might be able, it's hard to see it on the camera. I'm not going to be able to get a very good view of it, but anyways, the front of the case is actually lifted off the rollers, so you need to get this in a good spot to where the case is sitting all the way down on the rollers. And I like to keep this off of the crease of the shoulder here, just behind it. And then I move my indicator over. I usually go about 3/4 the way up the neck. I don't want to get too close to the mouth because there's always little imperfections right around the edge of the mouth, and I'm really not looking for that. I want to see. I'm looking for run out here. You get this zeroed. Okay. See that bit is sweeping all the way around, all the way past the 4/1000ths mark, back to 0 right there, and just going over 4, about 4½ thou. So we got a bit of run out here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to rotate this right to its high spot right there, and I'm going to stop. We're going to take Sharpie. I'm going to put a dot on the case rim right at 12 o'clock, right in front of this steel pin right here, right on top here. I'm putting a blue dot right there as a reference of where my high point is in the neck, as the highest point in the rotation of the case neck. And then, now that it's out of there, put a little better mark so it doesn't get rubbed off. Okay, I have, these case necks are right at 308 ID. This is a 308 pin gauge. Nice and tight fit, as you can see. Doesn't take too much force to push it in, but it's a nice snug fit. A little bit of tension, a little drag. Stick it in there. And the reason I do this is to keep from distorting the roundness of the case mouth when I put it in this tool over here. So I'm going to insert this into the size hole that it fits. This hole here is not big enough. The pin fits, but the mouth of the case doesn't. So I go up one size to this hole here. Now the whole thing is in there. I'm going to rotate this case. I'm going to put it so that my blue mark is right at 12 o'clock, and then I'm going to push down on this. I'm going to put it back in my indicator. Okay, it's a little bit better. So now, these ones that are bad take several tries. We're going from about a ½ thou right there to just over 4, almost 4½. So we lost a good ½ thou of run out there. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to rotate it, and just to make sure that, I always like to make sure my high spot is still in the same place, and it is. My blue mark is right at 12 o'clock with the gauge at just over 4 thousandths. So I still need to go more. I always double check the reference of my mark, because if you push, if the brass gives too much, you can overbend the neck, you know, the opposite way of what it was. So I gave it a good, real good firm push there. I already did one, so I kind of got a feel for what it takes to get these things to move. They're pretty stiff. So more improvement here. So now we are just over 3.5, coming up to about 1 thou. If I were to zero this gauge, we'd see basically 2.5 thousandths of run out. We were at 4.5 when we started. I'm gonna bring this back up to its high spot. Yep, my mark is still there at 12 o'clock. Stick it in here with the mark at 12 o'clock. Give it a little more push. Let's check it again. Yeah, we're at about 1.5 thou of run out now. So take it back to its high spot, which was right there. Still at the same reference. We're just over 1 thou here, somewhere between not quite 1.5 thou, but definitely more than 1. And I'm still got the same high spot, so give a little more. I just leave this pin right in here because that pin's not hurting anything, whether I leave it in or take it out. So I just leave it in there, and I don't have to keep. That's pretty close. We're right at about 1 thou. My reference point moved just a hair. It's so close, it's pretty much still the same actually. Yeah. Still isn't wanting to give me that last 1/2 thou I'm trying to get out of there.
And it could be really tough to get it down to a half a thou this way, I'll be honest. Most people would be pretty happy with just being at 1 thou. And I may end up just leaving it at that if it doesn't want to cooperate here, because I'm only willing to spend so much time. I mean, we're down to I'm going to call 1 thou here. You know, because this gauge is so sensitive, it gets a little jumpy, so I don't get too excited over just one little flick of the needle there at the high spot. I can kind of discredit that last little tenth or whatever. So that's how that's done. I'm just going to call that case done. And I had 4 others set here, but to keep this video from getting too long, I'm just going to stop at that. It's at this point, it's just a repeat. Not every case is going to be so hard, and as you do them, as you do more, you kind of get a feel for how hard you need to push, and it goes faster the more you do. Like I said, I just did one before this video just to check everything out, make sure everything was up to speed before I hit the play button. So I don't think there's anything else I had left to add to this. This tool here, I mean, this is something that you could easily, make, but if you didn't want to make it, if you just preferred to buy it, you can find it on NECO's website. This is another tool of theirs that I have. There's the name. The website is NECO, NECONOS.com. I don't ask what NOS stands for, but it's N as in Nicholas, O as in Oscar, S as in Steve. NECONOS.com, and you can buy this. This is just their Concentricity tool, or well, it's a multi-purpose. It does a bunch of things. You can use it for measuring for any case head separation, case neck run out. There's a few things that I can do on that I can't do on this one, but I really don't ever use the NECO. I have it. I bought this long before I had this, so this tool was an upgrade to that one. But I kept it just in case I needed it, because there was a few small things that it just gave me a little more diversity with what I'm able to do and things I'm able to check. Other things that you can check on this, which was something that I did actually check on one of the casings. That was the one that I fixed before the video. The neck just wasn't wanting to give, and I didn't know if it was that I wasn't pushing hard enough, or if the problem was behind the case neck. And so what I did was actually I moved this indicator up and over the shoulder and brought it back down to touch, and then I rotated my wheel here to see if I had any run out in the body that was causing the neck to wobble, which was well under 1 thou, and I had 4 thousandths run out on the neck, so I knew that the problem was not in the case body, it was definitely in the case neck. So that's just another feature on here, another thing you're able to do. There's a lot of things you can do on here. If you really wanted to, you could check loaded ammo. These casings here have definitely have some run out, because the ammo box that those were in went through a little oops and ended up on the floor. The lid was not secured good with the latch, and But anyways, if you wanted to see how straight or not straight your bullets are seating into the case neck, you can set the tool up like this, where it's way out past here's the case neck, so we're way out here at the end of the bearing shank, and we can rotate and check for run out there. Of course, this has tons of run out because these necks are all bent. This is just a tray of ammo that I got to go through and fix. But so you can check run out, actual bullet run out there on seated ammo. And if you wanted to, you could actually, I did play with this once to check for any kind of run out in a bullet. It gets a little tricky to do with a bullet, but you could butt these all the way up against each other, lay a bullet on there, and roll, bring this over and set it right down on that bearing surface just behind the ogive, and check for any kind of, this is not sitting on here flat enough for me to do it good with these. If the bullets were longer though, these are 30 cal, they're not quite that long, but you can check for uniformity on bullets. I don't think there's anything else left to add, so I'm going to end it at that. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Please check out my Patreon page. There's a lot more there than what I offer on YouTube. YouTube's just kind of a taste tester and a place to upload videos for Patreon, which not all videos I load onto YouTube are accessible to the public. Certain ones I release to the public. Some are only available to the Patreon members. So once again, thanks for watching, and have a good night. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe.